Hello everyone, I'm RUPAL MISHRA and today I'm going to present on the topic fertilization in humans. Let us begin. As we know, reproduction may occur either asexually or sexually. There is an evident difference between sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. The sexual mode is a more complex process than the asexual mode. One crucial difference is fertilization, which is absent in asexual mode. The process of fusion of male gamete and a female gamete to produce a diploid zygote is known as fertilization. Now, why fertilization is so important? To answer this question, it's important for the continuation of the species and it also initiates embryogenesis. The formation of embryo is known as embryogenesis. Before knowing how this phenomenon takes place, let us first study about the types of fertilization. Based on the fact that where the fusion of gametes is taking place, fertilization is divided into two parts: internal fertilization and external fertilization. In sexual reproduction, the male inserts the semen into the female reproductive tract to fuse with the egg. If the fusion takes place within the female parent, it is called as internal fertilization. In humans and most animals like cats, lions, dogs, hens, etc., the fusion of gametes takes place internally. In this type, a zygote is formed within the mother and gets its nourishment from her. Talking about external fertilization, the fusion of male and female gametes takes place outside the female parent. Only a minority of organisms exhibit this type of gamete fusion. For example, fish, frogs, etc. Here the female parent deposits her eggs in the external environment. The male parent ejects the sperm over them and then the fusion of the gametes takes place in the external environment. Gametes that fuse externally have to face many challenges. Since eggs and sperms are deposited in the external environment, the chances of fusion are very less. Predators might eat the eggs or the zygote that is formed. To compensate the loss, organisms like fish and frogs lay eggs, hundreds of eggs at a time. Let us first understand about the female reproductive tract. It consists of a pair of ovaries on either side of the uterus, which produces the female gamete ova, secondary oocyte to be precise. The egg is released from the ovary by the process of ovulation and is catched by the finger-like projections called the fimbriae of the fallopian tube. The egg is then transferred to the ampullary region via infundibulum. Ampulla is the site of fertilization in females. The sperm enters through the vagina to the uterus via cervix and eventually reaches to the ampullary region of the fallopian tube. Now, let us understand the structure of human sperm and ova. Sperm is the haploid male gamete and can be divided into three parts: head, neck, and tail. Head contains the nucleus with densely coiled chromatin fibers, surrounded anteriorly by a thin, flattened sac called the acrosome, which contains enzymes used for penetrating the female egg. It also contains vacuoles. Talking about tail, it is also called the flagellum. It is the longest part and capable of wave-like motion that propels sperm for swimming and aids in the penetration of the egg. Neck is the middle piece which connects the head and the tail. It contains many mitochondria used for the ATP production for the journey through the vagina to the fallopian tube. Now, talking about the female gamete ova, which is rich in cytoplasm, which contains yolk granules to nourish the cell early in the development. The female ovum is not yet mature and hence is known as secondary oocyte. It is covered by two layers known as zona pellucida and corona radiata. The space between zona pellucida and the cell membrane of the ova is known as perivitelline space. Now, coming to the exact mechanism of fertilization. During this process, semen comprising thousands of sperms are inseminated into the female vagina during coitus. The sperm moves towards the uterus and reach the opening of the fallopian tube. Only a few sperms will succeed in reaching the opening of the fallopian tube. The secondary oocyte releases from the matured Graafian follicle of the ovary and enters into the fallopian tube, where it is fertilized within 24 hours, after which it is released from the ovary. Though surrounded by several sperms, the oocyte is fertilized by a single sperm during meiosis II. The sperm enters the secondary oocyte and completes the meiosis. Both sperm and egg show their vitality only to a limited period. Sperm is alive for 48 to 72 hours, whereas the egg can be fertilized within 24 hours. What exactly happens is the head part of a sperm contains acrosome which has hydrolytic enzymes. Due to acrosomal reaction, the plasma membrane of the secondary oocyte and the sperm are fused together so that the content of the sperm can enter the egg. When the plasma membrane of the sperm binds with that of the secondary oocyte, the plasma membrane of the oocyte depolarizes. This prevents polyspermy. Calcium ion plays a significant role in the acrosomal reaction. Factors essential for acrosomal reactions are optimum pH, optimum temperature, calcium and magnesium concentration. Soon after the fusion of the plasma membrane, the oocyte shows cortical reaction. Cortical granules are present under the plasma membrane, releases cortical enzymes between zona pellucida and plasma membrane. This hardens the zona pellucida, which prevents polyspermy. After the entry of the sperm, the suspended second meiotic division is completed by the secondary oocyte. The head of the sperm containing the nucleus detaches from the entire sperm and is known as male pronucleus. The tail and the second polar body degenerates. The pronucleus of male fuses with the pronucleus of the female. And now the ovum is fertilized and is known as a zygote. Once fertilization happens, the cell starts to divide and multiply within 24 hours in the fallopian tube. Later, after 3 to 4 days, it travels to the uterus and now we call it as an embryo. The embryo undergoes various stages and gets attached to the endometrial layer of the uterus. This process is known as implantation. Now, the embryogenesis starts to form a whole new organism. Thank you.